What's going on, everyone? This is Shea here from Sword Chomp. I'm here with a video to talk to you about my top 20 music albums of this year. Now, we are first going to start with 10 albums that didn't quite make the cut, but I thought they were still phenomenal albums, and so I'm going to list them in no discernible order, and then we are going to get to the top 20. I do want to say that this isn't a end all be all list. This I didn't listen to every album this year. There's no way I could have done that. This list, I'm not saying these are the top 20 best. I'm saying these are my favorite, my personal best top 20. If you have differing opinions, if you have different top 20, please let me know. I'd love to hear about it. I love to hear new music. But just keep that in mind going forward with this video. So, here we go. So the 10 that didn't make the cut, I'm going to go through them as quickly as possible. We have War of Ages' new album Void. We have Anamanaguchi's USA. We have Sum 41's Order in Decline. We have Battles with Juice B. Crits. We have Miku Yonezawa with her newest album Exotic Gravity. We have Charlie XCX's new album Charlie. Astronauts Eponymous new album. Kublai Khan TX's new album, Absolute. We have O Sleeper's newest album, Bloodied and Unbowed. And last but not least, we have Norma Jean's newest album, All Hail. Now, these are great albums. They unfortunately didn't make the cut. Some of them were super, super difficult. I took them off the list, and then I put them on, and then I took them off, and then I put them on, and then I took them off. And there's a lot of shuffling around. It pained me. Maybe I should have made a top 30 list, but I wanted to keep it as concise as possible. Now, let's get into the top 20. Coming in at number 20, we have Lizzo's new album, 'Cause I Love You. I love it for many reasons. First off, it's a great, great album for women empowerment and just empowerment of people in general. It talks about empowering minorities, specifically the Black community, which I think is always going to be an important issue until there is perfect equality there, which may or may not ever happen, but it still needs to be talked about. It's still an issue, and Lizzo definitely rises to the occasion to talk about it. On top of that, the music is beyond catchy. This album, we finally got to see her break out fully. She is being realized as words. She's being realized as a musician to her fullest capacity. I'm excited to see what she does next. I'm really happy for her success this year. Coming in at number 19, we have Knocked Loose's new album, A Different Shade of Blue. Now, this album is punishing. It's very, very powerful. It's hard-hitting. It's some good, awesome, hardcore music. So if you like hardcore, I guarantee you're going to like this album. What made this album stick out for me is the vocals in particular. The way the lead singer screams and uses harsh vocals is unlike anything I've ever heard personally. That doesn't mean it has never been done before, but for me, I've never heard it quite this way. I absolutely enjoyed my time with this record. It made me want to kick some ass. It's a great gym record if you're into that kind of thing. So check it out. Number 18, we have MeRa's new album, Shahili. MeRa has been around in the scene for quite some time. They're a great metal band, and they mix oriental influence with their metal. And it makes this very unique, awesome blend. So on Shahili, their newest album, it picks up right where the previous album left off. I think that this album has a little bit better song composition than their previous album. It's very enjoyable. I love the blend that they do, and it may seem gimmicky to some people. I don't think so. I think the blend is very well done, and I think the music composition speaks for itself. Number 17, we have Opeth's newest album, Inkata Denina. I probably butchered that name, but we're going to move past that. I love this album for many reasons. One of the reasons is they recorded the vocals in both English and Swedish. So if you want to check that out, that's there for you, I guess. But what I love about this album is a few years ago, Opeth decided to make the transition from death metal to progressive metal. Now, a lot of fans enjoyed it, and they were confused at first, but they've since hopped on the journey. And I was kind of interested to see what they would do with this new album, because I've enjoyed the prog records that they've done, but I haven't enjoyed it as much as their previous work. And this record, I think, is a very good blend of what they're currently doing with shades of what they used to be and who they used to be. It's obviously influenced by Pink Floyd, like so many bands nowadays. I love the journey that this album takes you on. It's unique. It's unique this year, and I really enjoy it. Coming in at number 16, we have Denzel Curry's newest album, Zoo. Now, I didn't know who this was until this year. I saw him on Triple J performing Rage Against the Machine's Bulls on Parade. And when I saw that performance by Denzel Curry, I was like, I gotta know who this guy is. And so I went to Spotify immediately, plugged in Zoo. I fell in love with this guy's music. I like this new album. It's short, it's very compact. Each song is a banger. I love this album. I especially enjoyed his lyricism because he's not just talking about the typical rap and hip hop tropes of girls and money and cars and all that. He's actually talking about social anxieties and mental illnesses a little bit. He's talking about bringing his family and his friends up with him, the people who've been there from day one. He's talking about other subject matter. And for me, that made it stand out from a typical hip hop and rap album, especially one with hints of trap in it. Number 15, we have Sam Webster's newest album, which is the Grindstone OST. Now, Grindstone is a game that came on the Apple Arcade a few months ago, and it's this typical puzzler game. It's nothing amazing or awesome. I mean, it's a fun game, but it's not like I have to go play it right now. But with this album, it has no reason to be as good as it is. It's killer. Now, it's pretty much just trip hop music. Each song is different from the other, and I really enjoy this record for what it was. If you're looking for an awesome video game soundtrack this year, this is the one. Trio Sense's new album, Scorpio Rising. Now, this album is a jazz record, and I really enjoyed it. It was suggested to me, and I checked it out. And what I like about this album is each song stands apart. It isn't just, typical waiting room jazz. The first song has this kind of Mediterranean jazz vibe, and then the next few songs have this kind of upbeat jazz vibe, and then another song has a different vibe. It is a very cool jazz record. I think in order for jazz to be relevant in this day and age, it has to combine with different genres and it has to be diverse in the complete package. And I think that Trio Sense has done a really good job with it. We have Nick Johnston's Wide Eyes in the Dark. This album, for me, is right up my alley. It's prog music, it's rock, there are no vocals, and it's heavily guitar and drum focused. Now, Nick Johnston's been in the scene for quite some time, and his prerogative has never been flashy and just sweeping guitar parts. He's not trying to blow your mind by shredding. What he's trying to do is blow your mind by showing each note is well thought out. And this album is no different. I think it's his most comprehensive and complete work to date. I absolutely love that he lets the guitar be the voice that you hear. And it takes you on a journey, this entire album, from front to back. Number 12, we have Baroness's new album, Gold and Gray. I was really excited for this album. Purple was an awesome album, and Yellow and Green, the one before it, was also incredible as well. And that's where I got into the band initially. So with this album, they saw Gina, a new guitar player, come in, and she actually added some vocals. And why that's important is because it felt like it added a layer that the band was previously missing. The songs already sounded great, but this additional layer to me brought the songwriting to a new level, and it made the complete package feel that much more amazing. I absolutely love this record. I think that the production could have been a little bit better, but I think the songs will stand the test of time. I feel that the new songs off of this record have a place in Baroness's catalog. At number 11, we have Killswitch Engage's new album, Atonement. Now, it pained me to put it this low because Killswitch Engage is my favorite band of all time. But I think that the album was a little bit too short. I think some of the songs didn't quite resonate with me as much as previous albums' songs have. That being said, some of the songs on this album are phenomenal. It's, typical metalcore, but the fact that they've been doing this for 20 years blows my mind. Adam on guitar always brings it. Jesse Leach, the lead singer, phenomenal. He took his vocals to new heights on this record. I love this new record. And we got to finally, as fans, see a dual singing of Jesse and Howard for the first time in the last 14 years. Number 10, we have Blink 182's newest album, 9. Yes, I know. I could have put this at number 9. I missed an opportunity here. Let's move on. So, this record is interesting because the previous record, California, a lot of people didn't really like that record. With Matt Skiba coming in, replacing Tom DeLonge, a lot of people were not excited for this record. Agree, I did not really like California. There were a few songs on there, but otherwise I did not enjoy that record. I did not expect anything from this album. I was very impressed with this record, to say the least. There are a lot of really good songs on here. Where California was about happiness and enjoyment, 9 is not so much that. 9 is talking about insecurities. 9 is talking about growing old. 9 is talking about, dealing with difficulties in relationships. Sometimes the lyrics seem a little cheesy for guys in their 40s to be singing about, but I also keep it in perspective of where they're trying to go as a band, focusing more on the pop element than the punk element. I think they did a great job here. Let's move on to the next one. Number 9, we have Stray from the Past's newest album, Internal Atomics. These guys have been in the scene for quite some time, pushing this metalcore, slightly hip hop influenced alt metal music. And they've kind of taken the mantle that Rage Against the Machine put down. And they've been doing it for quite some time. They're, of course, talking about things politically that are relevant to right now. So this record is very relevant. On top of that, this is the second record with their newest drummer, and he slays. Absolutely love the work he does. Being a drummer, it resonates with me. One thing that stood out about this record for me is the lead vocalist. He actually sang a song about his mother and his childhood, and it's not often that the lead vocalist will go into his personal life. He more speaks to political lyricism, and so it was interesting to hear that on this record, and I really enjoyed it. It's a very compact record. It's very in your face. If you like aggressive music, this is the one. As I Lay Dying's Shaped by Fire comes in at number 8. Now, I know some of you are going to be like, well, how can you listen to this new record knowing what the lead singer did in his past, just not 7 years ago? That's ridiculous. I can't do this list anymore. Look, I get it. Everyone's going to have their own opinions, but this list is about the music. This list is not so much about what happened prior. It's not about who these people are. Yes, it may taint that for some people. It hasn't for me. So we may agree to disagree there. Up to you. But this record has been 7 years in the making, and it was important because these guys were at the height of metalcore when the lead singer did what he did. So to see these guys kind of fall from grace was, interesting, but they came back and they picked up musically right where they left off. This album is phenomenal. It's shown how they've grown over the years as musicians and as songwriters. The songs that this album contains, absolutely love every single one of it. Love this record from front to back. None of the record seems superfluous or unnecessary. 7 years in the making. It was well worth the wait. Jamie Cullum's newest album, Taller, comes in at number 7. Again, this is another jazz record. This is a more pop jazz record. Jamie Cullum was a household name about 14 years ago with some very high profile singles that he released. He's known a little bit less now than he used to be. And it's interesting because that's a lot of what his lyricism deals with on this new record. He talks about a lot of struggles where he's had difficulties dealing with anxiety or difficulty dealing with him used to being the highest selling jazz musician in the UK to barely being known now. And so he's trying to kind of reconcile these feelings, and he discusses some of this on this new record. And it was a unique perspective for someone to talk about where they were and where they are now, being on top, to try and deciding, do I want to be back in that place? And it makes for some very interesting lyricism. Number 6, we have The Devil Wears Prada's newest project, The Act. Now, I'm going to be honest with you guys, I absolutely did not like this record when I first heard it. I thought, oh man, these guys are going soft now. They're going radio friendly. I don't get it. I don't like it. I went and listened to it a few more times, and I was like, you know what? I need to go into this with an open mind. And I understood it. Where I was wanting aggression and fast playing and shredding and bombastic blast beats, they stripped a lot of that away for minimalism. So what I thought was they were going for pop and they were foregoing their heaviness, they were going for minimalism. So when the heavy vocals come in, it's very powerful, it's very poignant. And when they use their singing, which is a lot more prevalent in this record, it makes sense, especially with a lot of the lyricism. They're dealing with mental disabilities and mental struggles. They're dealing with, growing older, something that we can all relate to. It's cool to see where they're going in their songwriting process and as musicians. They've definitely grown, and it's cool to see their journey take place. Number 5, we have Cliff Martinez's newest record, Too Old to Die Young soundtrack. Now, this is from a TV show that I actually told one of my good friends to watch, and I didn't watch it myself. Not all of it. I watched a little bit, but not enough. And this record, this album, I checked it out and I was like, why is this so good? This is an amazing, amazing soundtrack. And again, it has no right or reason to be this good. It has absolutely no reason. And it's this very synthwave, anxious feeling record, and it's so powerful. It's very, very, I don't want to say creepy because then that almost will turn you off, but it's like just this feeling of unease. And you think, why would you want to listen to that? I can't explain it. It's just it paints a picture so vividly. I haven't even seen the TV show, and I can imagine what's going on with each song. On top of that, synthwave is awesome. Let's be real here. I love this record. I was surprised at how good it is. If you're looking for a TV show soundtrack that is amazing this year, this is the one. Number 4, we have Voyager's newest album, Colors in the Sun. I'm going to tell you right now, this band is the most underrated band out there. They've been putting music out for close to 20 years, and hardly anyone has heard of them, and it's despicable. Let me tell you right now, these guys are so good. They mix 80s style vocals and synth with metal and djent music. Their recent past, they were more focused on the djent part, but with this record, they focused more on the synth and making more complete songs. And it shows. This record is by far their best work. They have some very catchy tunes. They have some very heavy and hard hitting tunes. They have something for fans of old and new. This record, if you listen to any record this year, it's not the best one, but I'm going to tell you right now, you will love it. This is the record to listen to. Number 3, we have Tyler the Creator's newest album, Igor. Watching Tyler grow over all these years has been phenomenal. And musically, to see him where he's at now from where he used to be is crazy to me. Absolutely crazy. In that we see him sing a lot more, rap a lot less. But don't get it twisted. He does have some rap banger. This album is just phenomenal in what he's writing about. It's the breakup album of the year, for sure, if not the past decade. Interesting to see him be so vulnerable and talk about a breakup in such a visceral way, a very tangible way. It's something that I think everyone can relate to. Everyone's been in a breakup. He just paints the picture so vividly and in his own personal way. On top of that, the instrumentation, the samples, everything, it's his best work, easily. Number 2, we have Periphery's newest album, P4 Hail Stan. I've been a big fan of the djent scene for quite some time. With Periphery, they were kind of not necessarily the pioneers, but they're the ones that kind of brought it to the forefront these past 10 years. With this newest album, I kind of had the thought process, what do they have left to contribute? Is there enough left in the tank? This record is amazing. It starts off with a 16-minute track that doesn't feel like 16 minutes. And it's unrelenting, it's unforgiving. This record is, it's some of their heaviest material to date. That being said, this is by far the lead singer Spencer's best work. This is vocally my favorite album. There's nothing better out there that you're going to get in rock and metal than this album this year. The songwriting in this album is easily their best to date. I really enjoyed the songs, and when you finally get to the last song, Satellites, the 10-minute song, it's going to take you on this emotional journey. All right, we've come to the number one album of this year, and in true fashion, it is an album that most people have never heard of, or a band that most people have never heard of. We have Arch Echo's newest album, You Won't Believe What Happens Next. Now, you're like, wait, how can you put this at number one? Well, I told you with Nick Johnston that the kind of prog, no vocal music is in my wheelhouse. This is exactly that. This is from a group from Australia that don't have the recognition that they should be getting right now. Obviously, the musicianship is there. The work that they put together, I love the songs here. They each tell a very, very unique story when they allow the listener to develop his or her own story. And that's the kind of music I like, to be able to write my own story. This album is their second album, and it is a step up in many, many ways. I found myself just listening to it, and then I'd go listen to other stuff, and then it always just kept creeping back, keep coming back, and I'd be like, okay, I'm listening to this record again, okay, and I never grew tired of it. This album is the best album, in my opinion, this year. Such a good listen. So if you like no vocaled prog music, this is for you. Thank you for listening to my top 20 albums of this year. I appreciate it very much. If you disagree, that's perfectly okay. Just down here, down below, let me know what your top 20 albums of the year was. Now, if you're offended because I didn't include something that you like, that doesn't mean I didn't like it this year. This is just the music that stuck with me the most, that resonated with me, that kept coming back into my ears. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you for watching, and we will catch you on the next video.